When it comes to ideas, this is a great one. I did not know this. Spices go stale. So I want to introduce you to two local women who have come up with a very smart solution. Please meet Katie and Sarah. Thanks so much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
I cannot believe that spices go stale, but you said, of course they do.
Yes, they do. Light, air, and moisture are the enemy of spice flavor. And so the way that most spices are packaged in glass or plastic bottles, it leads them to become stale very quickly.
So you guys met, you came up with an idea. What's the idea?
Well, our idea was that we had heard that light, air, and moisture make spices go stale, and you should store your spices away from that. So we looked at the glass jars available and the plastic jars in the grocery store.
Light, air, and moisture.
And we looked at our spice cabinets, which were a mess because we would buy something and lose it, and we said, well, why is it so hard to store these spices in the correct way? And one idea led to another, and we decided that we would just do that.
So we put spices in single-use packets. They're pre-measured.
Shot of this.
Okay, they're pre-measured, so they're all 1 teaspoon, so you don't need to use a measuring spoon when you're getting your spices out. You just snip it open and use it in your recipe. And the way they're packaged, they stay fresh for a long time, and you don't buy a lot of spice that you don't need. And so if you buy a big jar of spice, you might need 1 teaspoon for your grandmother's favorite recipe that you like to make, but you don't need 14 or 17 teaspoons of that spice. And then to put it back in your cabinet to have it, forget about it, and have it go stale. So we came up with the idea of putting spices in these 1 teaspoon packets.
And these are organic, correct?
They're organic, which is the other thing. What really drove us was flavor, and we really didn't like having jars of spice that didn't have much flavor. So as we researched how to protect the flavor, we also sampled spices, and in every case the organic spice was better. And we realized when we looked into that is that organic spices have to be pure. They can't have sodium or additives or anything to make them not cake up. So there's an advantage in flavor. You get more flavor with an organic spice, and there's also a health advantage in the sense that you don't have things that you might be allergic to. If you need a low sodium diet, it's perfect because it adds nothing else to it. And when you get more flavor, you can also cut out other calorie things like less fat. You don't need as much fat or sugar. For instance, in oatmeal, if you have a good spice, sometimes I don't put any sugar in my oatmeal.
Well, skeptics are going to say, is this more expensive?
Well, it is more expensive on the per ounce basis. Okay. Yes, you're going to pay more per ounce, but on a per use basis, it's actually much less expensive because you're not buying a lot of spice that you're not ever using. You would never buy milk in 30-gallon quantity. You buy the amount of milk you can drink. So you should do the same thing with spices. So you buy what you need. You know it will taste really good. It's really easy to use, and it stays fresh. And it's actually with our Smart Spice product, it's very inexpensive in terms of the actual cost.
The cost per use is what we like to talk about because the cost in general is not really relevant to the consumer, but it's when you use it, and are you getting your money's worth when you pay money for a spice? And when you buy a lot more spice than you need before it goes stale, you really don't get your money's worth.
Now, you both wrote cookbooks.
Yes.
Okay, what are they about? Spices? Or?
They're about spices. What we wanted to do was to really bring the idea of spices to the American kitchen. So many spice-oriented cookbooks are geared toward ethnic cuisines, or many of them are Indian, because the Indian culture uses spices in such wonderful ways, and they have such a heritage of spice use. But we really wanted to bring that back to American cooking, and actually throughout history there have been more uses of spices than we have in our kitchens today. So we wanted to take all American favorites like macaroni and cheese and show how you can add a couple of spices and make a dish that had a real appeal, and then switch it off to use a couple of other ones. So it's all about ordinary food with spices.
Well, and we have another one too. We have an ice cream book as well, which is about making homemade ice cream using spice flavors, wonderful flavors.
People, your web address, please. You have two.
We have two. We sell online, tspspices.com.
Okay.
And Smart Spice is smart-spice.com.
Okay.
We also do a blog at teaspoonspices.com.
Thank you so much for coming in. I love the idea. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me, Megan.
I know.
I'm going to come up now with the new spice rack for you, ladies.